Welcome to the Freight Broker course powered by Lane Runner and the Reefer guys. This course is going to be a bit different from what you might have seen online or in other training programs. I believe that the only way to truly learn freight brokering is to immerse yourself fully in the process, hands-on, from day one. So, let me start by sharing a bit about how I got into this business and what you can expect from this course. I started freight brokering about 15 years ago. At the time, I was running a different business when a buddy of mine asked me a simple but life-changing question. Why are you doing that when you could be making more money working from home? Naturally, I was curious, so I went over to his place to see what he was talking about. When I got there, he was in his basement working on just 2 computers and 2 cell phones. I asked him, "What exactly are you doing down here?" He explained that he was making money by answering calls, talking to customers, posting trucks on load boards, and negotiating deals. It looked straightforward but exciting. I wanted to learn more, and he said, "Just watch me for a couple of hours, and then you're going to start calling shippers from this long list I have." At first I thought, I don't know anything about this. How am I supposed to make calls? But he quickly cut me off and said, "You don't need to know anything to start. If you can't make the calls, there's no point in learning the rest of the business. First, you make the calls, then you learn the business as you go. It's all hands-on. There isn't much I can teach you from a book." And that's the first lesson I learned. In freight brokering, you have to get comfortable on the phone. If you're not good at that, there's no point in wasting time learning the technical details like how many wheels are on a truck. You get good on the phone first, build your customer base, and then you learn the ins and outs of the business step by step. That's how I learned, and that's how I'm going to teach you. This course is different from most others out there because it's based on real, proven experience. For over 14 years, I've been successfully making money in this business. I started making money almost immediately because I focused on the fundamentals, picking up the phone, talking to shippers and carriers, and closing deals. It's not glamorous and it's not easy, but it works. Let me break down what I saw my friend doing when I first started. In the morning, he'd begin posting freight on load boards. Don't worry, I'll explain what those are and how to use them later in the course. I watched him connect with shippers who needed to move freight, like a load from Miami, Florida to the Bronx market in New York. He'd post that load on the load board, and then trucks would call in. Now, one thing that really confused me in the beginning was how he knew what rate to post the load at. Back then, we didn't have the applications and tools we do now to check for spot market pricing. Today, we have tools like Lane Runner, which I personally use. It's great because I can just punch in the origin, destination, and equipment type, and it gives me a competitive rate to post. But back then, it was all about instinct and experience. After about 2 hours of watching him book trucks, I was hooked. He negotiated rates with the trucks like a stock market trader working the floor. There was so much action, energy, and excitement. When he secured a truck at a good rate, he'd call the customer and quote them a higher rate, making a profit on the difference. For example, he might pay a truck $4,000 to move a load and then charge the customer $4,500, pocketing a $500 profit. I was amazed. Just like that, he'd made money. But he warned me it's not that easy, and it's not going to be that easy for everyone taking this course. My goal here is to make it as straightforward as possible for you. I'll teach you how to make money, especially in niches like produce, where there's a lot of money to be made. But let me be honest with you, produce is also full of headaches. When I teach people, they often tell me, I can handle the headaches. But when the real stress hits, when the pressure is on, the ones who can't handle it pack up and leave. I've seen it time and again. Hopefully that's not going to be you, but I want you to understand that the odds are tough. This is a challenging business, but if you're committed, if you're willing to dive in headfirst and learn by doing, you can absolutely succeed. So, let's get started. Get ready to make those calls, immerse yourself in the process, and learn this business from the ground up. Welcome to the course.
In the world of freight brokering, there's no substitute for real-world experience. This is why our course is built around a hands-on approach designed to replicate the actual day-to-day experience of working as a freight broker. The reason for this approach is simple. Freight brokering is a dynamic and fast-paced industry. It's not about memorizing definitions or filling out worksheets. It's about picking up the phone, talking to shippers and carriers, negotiating rates, and solving problems in real time. Each call, each negotiation, and each deal is different from the last, requiring adaptability, quick thinking, and the ability to learn on your feet. Just like in the real world, this course will immerse you in scenarios where you'll have to make decisions, manage relationships, and navigate challenges. By focusing on practical, hands-on learning, you'll develop the confidence and skills needed to handle actual situations, from the first cold call to managing a complex freight movement. This method mirrors how I and many successful brokers before me learned the business by doing it. You'll gain valuable insights into the nuances of the industry and understand what it takes to succeed in the real world, not just in theory. This approach is what makes our training different and what will prepare you best for a career in freight brokering.
So, after that first day of watching my friend work as a freight broker, I realized I liked what I saw. That was just a quick glimpse into my morning experience, but let me dive deeper into what really caught my attention. I decided to give it a shot and picked up the phone that very first day, and to be honest, I failed miserably. But here's the thing. I wasn't discouraged. My mindset was simple. If he could do it, so could I. I may not be the smartest person in the room, but when I commit to learning something and immerse myself fully, I know I can get good at it. At that time, I already had an income-generating business. I've always been an entrepreneur, and I was doing quite well. I was running a water sports business, essentially doing something like Airbnb before Airbnb even existed. I was making money and enjoying a good lifestyle. But deep down, I knew I couldn't keep doing that forever. My water sports business was physically demanding. I was teaching, giving lessons, and it took a toll on my body. I realized I needed a career change, something more sustainable for the long term. I had to make a decision. Do I want to shift to a more disciplined environment, work from an office, and have the chance to work for myself and make money? The answer was yes, I needed to make that shift. But let me be clear, this is not a typical job. In a regular job, you show up, you get paid. That's not how this works. In freight brokering, you might not see any money at all for the first month. Let me explain why. There's a billing cycle involved. After you complete a load, the carrier or truck driver has to submit their paperwork. That alone takes a couple of weeks. Then your company or the office you work for has to process that paperwork, which takes even more time before you finally see any payment. Even if you successfully move freight on your first day, you won't see that paycheck for a few weeks, and that's the best-case scenario. This isn't a job where you clock in, work, and get paid automatically. This is about starting your own business. People aren't going to just walk through your door like they would in a retail shop. You're not guaranteed to make money. To get started in this business, you need to have reserves. Cash in the bank to cover your bills. I'd recommend having at least 3 months worth of savings set aside to make sure you can stay focused without any interruptions. You could easily go get a regular job where you're locked into a salary, but to me, that doesn't make sense if you have the opportunity to build something for yourself. Try this out. If it works, fantastic. If not, there are other roles in logistics like dispatching or even truck driving that might offer a steadier paycheck. When I made the switch, I had just enough money to last a month or two. I quickly learned that without a regular paycheck, things got tight. Even when I was moving freight, I wasn't seeing the money immediately, and it became stressful trying to pay my bills. That pressure made me nervous, and when you're nervous, you don't make the best decisions. For example, I could have charged my customer an extra $500 on a load, but I only added $200 to guarantee they'd say yes. I ended up losing money because I was too anxious about making the sale. So I want to make sure you are set up for success from the start. You need a proper, quiet work environment. I typically start my day around 7 or 8 in the morning and stay active until 1 or 2 in the afternoon. But I still have to be available on the phone for the rest of the day. In this business, your phone is your lifeline. If your customer can't reach you, they'll be frustrated. Your main job is to book trucks and handle the inevitable problems that arise, often around dinner time when you're trying to unwind. These issues can range from a truck breaking down to missing a scheduled pickup, and suddenly, You're scrambling at 8 in the evening to find a replacement truck at higher rates. If you can't solve these problems, you risk losing a shipper, and just one mistake can cost you a lot, even if it's not your fault. You become a human punching bag, taking hits from both the truckers and the shippers. Over time, you develop a kind of sixth sense for trouble. You can often tell when a truck won't show up just by the tone of the initial conversation. These are the things you learn not from a book, but from experience. Freight brokering isn't just about knowing the technical details. It's about mastering the mental game and having the persistence to keep going, even when it's tough. You'll make a lot of cold calls and you'll face rejection, more so now with people worldwide trying to do this from home since COVID. The market is crowded and shippers are more guarded than ever. But don't get discouraged. The way I'm teaching you, you will learn to do it right and carve out your space, especially in your niche. I have a strong track record and my customers trust me. You're going to build the same credibility. To recap, set up a good home office in a quiet place, prepare to work 10 to 12-hour days, especially at the beginning, and have your financial life in order. It only takes one solid shipper to start giving you loads every week, and that's when the money starts flowing. It will be stressful in the beginning, but I'm here to guide you through it. Remember, you want quality freight, not just quantity. I'd rather have no freight than bad freight. Quality over quantity. That's the principle we'll discuss more in the next chapter. Can you believe you're only on your second chapter and you're already getting ready to call shippers? That's right. Most courses out there drag on, giving you endless theory before you get to the real work. Many of those courses are just copy-paste jobs from each other sold by people who haven't actually been in the trenches. But this course is different. I've been saying for over 5 years that I was going to make a course like this. Something real and practical. I finally took the time off to create this course because it's not just about the money for me. It's about giving you the tools to succeed. In this course, we're diving right in. We're going to start cold calling before I even tell you what a freight broker does. Sounds crazy, right? But that's intentional. I want you to feel stuck, not knowing all the answers right away. That's how you get skin in the game. I'm throwing you to the wolves because that's what will make you a stronger broker as you work through this course. Now, let's be honest. Most of the shippers you call aren't going to be interested. You'll hear a lot of, "We're not interested," or get redirected to a secretary who tells you, "Send us an email." Let me tell you something. When they say, "Send us an email," that's just a polite way of saying, "No thanks." You'll rarely get a response from those emails, so don't waste your time hoping for one. Here's a typical cold call scenario. You call a company and the receptionist answers with, "Hi, this is ABC Company, how can I help you?" I want you to respond with confidence. "Hi, this is Tim with XYZ Company. I'm interested in moving some of your freight. Who should I speak with?" At this point, the secretary might say, "We're not interested." Here's where you stay persistent. "I had a recommendation that I should be calling your company, and I'd really like to speak with someone about this." They might hang up on you, and that's okay. You might have to call back later. Make a note of every call, document your attempts, and track whether the company was receptive or not. I like to use a simple system to keep track. I'll even share my call sheet with you. It's basic, but it works. You can use a CRM, but if you spend too much time in your CRM, you're not making calls. This is a numbers game, and you need to stay focused on those numbers. If you do manage to get past the gatekeeper and get transferred to the transportation or logistics department, then it's game on. When you finally get through, come in with authority. Don't sound like a desperate salesperson. If someone called you while you were eating dinner and started with, "Hi, I want to sell you something," your first reaction would be to hang up. Instead, be assertive. State your name, your company, and your intent as if you've worked with them before. For example, "Hi, this is Tim with XYZ Company. I'm looking to move some freight. Who do I need to speak with?" If that doesn't work, here's a little trick that I use, and it's highly effective. Call back and say, "Hi, this is Tim with XYZ Company. I'd like to speak to sales. I'm interested in opening some accounts with you." Companies may not like to be sold to, but they sure love to sell. You'll get transferred to sales almost every time. Once you're there, You can try to get transferred to the transportation department or get a specific name to reach out to next time. Once you're talking to the right person, it's important to build a relationship. Start by being friendly and respectful of their time. Ask what lanes they're shipping. Lanes are routes like California to New York. You want to understand their needs, get their contact information, and make sure they remember you. Then follow up regularly. Call or email them every day if needed, until they either give you business or tell you to stop. You want to be short, sweet, and memorable. Use their name frequently. Ask about the lanes they run, and let them know you have trucks ready to go. Ask if you can quote their lanes and do the legwork for them. That's your job. You want to come in with solutions in hand. We'll get deeper into this script in the next chapter, but this is the foundation of a successful call. So, how do you find these shippers? You need leads. I've included a list of solid leads in this course to get you started. Start at the top of the list. Those are the easiest to access, and you can practice your script and approach. Remember, in this game, shippers are looking for the best rates, and they have plenty of brokers vying for their attention. If you don't deliver good service, they'll move on without a second thought. The goal is to develop relationships where you become more than just another broker. You want to become their go-to person, the one who has their cell phone number, who they call every day, who knows about their family, makes small talk about weekend sports, and keeps it personal. If you're not building friendships, you're not building a sustainable business. That's the point. Find good customers, build real relationships, and become indispensable. Now let's move on to the script and get you ready to start making those calls. Well, I may have jumped the gun a bit earlier. I don't want you jumping into cold calling without knowing a few key things to say and understanding what to expect. You need to have some basics down so you're not caught off guard, because you might actually get some freight right away. Let me share a story. On my 5th call, I contacted a watermelon company in Dallas. The guy on the other end said, "You know what? I like you. Send me your email." I was over the moon. I asked, "Do you need a truck today?" And he replied, "No, call me tomorrow at 8 a.m. The next morning at 7:59 a.m. I called him back. He said, "All right, I need a quote. Give me some rates from McAllen, Texas to Dallas, Texas." I jumped on it, told him, "Yes, sir, right on it," and hung up. Then I turned to the guy training me, a rough-around-the-edges broker, and asked, "What do I do now?" He said, "Get a truck." But I had no idea how to do that. He told me to log into the load boards like DAT, Truck Stop, and Lane Runner. I asked for more details, but he just said, "Post it," so I hit the post button to show that I was looking for a truck. For this course, we're focusing on refrigerated freight, reefer loads, because it's easier to break into. Why? Because it's high pressure with time-sensitive, perishable loads and potential claims, which causes a lot of brokers to drop out. Less competition means more opportunity, especially for beginners. I asked him what rate should I post. He gave me a number and I was curious about how he came up with it. Today, we can use tools like the Lane Runner Spot Market tool to find competitive rates to post, negotiate with, and determine what to charge the customer. I like to check what my competitors are posting. If other brokers are posting $1,300 for the same route, I use a little trick. I post my rate at $1,301. That one extra dollar can place you at the top of the board, giving you better visibility and a higher chance of getting the call. It might seem small, but it works. After posting the load, the calls from truck drivers started coming in, and the negotiations began. I was learning how to book a load. We'll dive deeper into that in the next chapter, but first, I want you to understand the basics of how this process works from the moment a shipper gives you a load. When the phone rang, I answered, "Hello, logistics." The trucker on the other end asked about my load from McAllen to Dallas. I got a quote from the truck, and to cut a long story short, I asked my trainer if the rate was good. He told me, "Run it past your customer." So, I did just that. He advised me to keep the markup reasonable, just $100 over the cost of the truck. He said, "Don't overcharge your customers, especially not on your first load. You want to build a relationship with them." And he was right. The goal is to make friends with your customers, not to gouge them. I called the shipper and quoted $1,600. He agreed and sent over the load information. I was ecstatic. I had made money online at a time when it wasn't a common thing. I earned $100, but I had to split it with my company, so I pocketed $50. Still, that $50 felt like a huge win because I had no prior knowledge of the business, and this was just my second or third day. It was all from calling the customer, telling him I had trucks, and being honest. Now, in the next chapter, I'm going to teach you exactly what to say on the phone to book a truck. If you happen to get a customer who wants to give you freight right away, you'll need to know how to handle it. We'll cover my specific tactics, what to say to the truckers, and how to navigate those conversations because remember, the trucks are the core of your business. Without them, you don't have a business. You need to connect shippers and trucks effectively as a broker or agent. Let's move on to the next chapter and get into those specifics. When a shipper gives you a load, this could be your first chance to secure business. Here's how you get started. Step 1. Be ready and be fast. First, always have your software ready. Every morning, I open up my truck management software or TMS and load boards like DAT, Truck Stop, and Lane Runner. Why? Because in this business, speed is everything. Until a shipper knows and trusts you, they are likely giving their freight to multiple brokers. You need to be the quickest to respond or you'll lose out. Typically, when you start, you'll be dealing with what's called spot market freight. This means you're handling loads that need to be moved immediately, rather than long-term contracted freight. Spot market loads are immediate, same-day bookings where rates fluctuate based on current demand and supply. These loads need to be moved quickly, often without the benefit of a long-term contract or scheduled lanes. That's why it's crucial to act fast and post your load quickly to secure a truck. Step 2. Set up your load on the boards. Let's use our example from earlier. A load from McAllen, Texas to Dallas, Texas. To establish a competitive rate, I log into Lane Runner, enter the origin and destination, select Reefer for refrigerated freight, and hit search. Within seconds, I get a market rate for that lane at that exact time. I then compare it with what other brokers are posting by searching the load boards. Make sure you're comparing similar loads. Same route, same type, one pick, one drop. Be careful. If a load requires a team, meaning 2 drivers, it will cost more. Once I've established a competitive rate, I'll use a little trick I shared earlier. Post it $1 above the highest rate you see. If the other brokers are posting at $1,300, I'll post at $1,301. This small difference often puts you at the top of the board, increasing your visibility and chances of getting a call from a truck. Step 3. Start taking calls from carriers. As soon as you post, be prepared for the phone to ring. When it does, answer with confidence. Hello, logistics. The truck driver will likely say, I'm calling about your McAllen to Dallas load. Now it's time to make friends. Be personable. Hey buddy, what's your name? Then get their motor carrier number. This is their unique identifier, like a driver's license for their trucking company. Run their MC number through your TMS to ensure they have a clean safety record and meet your company's standards. Step 4. Provide all the load information up front. Before they ask, give them all the necessary information. This is a one-pick, one-drop load of watermelons at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Pickup is first come, first served today from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And delivery is tomorrow between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. You don't want them fishing for details. You want to control the conversation and appear organized. Step 5. Negotiate the rate. The trucker will often try to negotiate. You need to stand firm on your rate, but be ready to negotiate if needed. I often ask them directly, what rate are you looking for? If they come back with a high number, say $1,800, I'll respond with, sorry, I can't do that, but I can give you an extra 100. It's a back and forth and it takes practice. But remember, always aim to build relationships rather than just getting a one-time deal. Step 6. Confirm and book the load. Once you agree on a rate with the carrier, confirm the pickup time and all the details, then notify your shipper with the rate and get the load information. At this point, you'll log everything into your TMS, origin, destination, times, and so on. This is a general overview of how to book a load using load boards, but there are more nuances to cover. You need to understand the finer details, your liabilities, rate confirmations, and the specific questions to ask both your shippers and carriers. We'll go deeper into each aspect, chapter by chapter, so you're fully equipped to handle all the variables that can come up. For now, keep this overview in mind as we continue to build on it in more detail. You're going to learn the ins and outs of every step, from using load boards to managing your first load. Let's move on to the next chapter and break down each piece in more depth. Before you pick up the phone and start making those cold calls, you need to speak the language of the industry. Knowing these terms will help you sound professional, build credibility, and navigate conversations like a pro. I'll break down each term, explain what it means, and give you some insider tips on how to use them effectively. I'll also share some tricks on how to handle produced shippers and follow the seasonal freight trends. And don't worry, I'll keep this fun, so it sticks. What it is. A lane is simply the route that a truck takes from point A to point B. For example, a lane could be Chicago, Illinois to Dallas, Texas. This is important because different lanes have different rates depending on distance, demand, fuel costs, and other factors. How to use it. When you're talking to a shipper, you might ask, "What lanes do you typically run?" This shows them you understand their business. It's a great way to open up a conversation about how you can help them. Write down the lanes they run or store it in your sales CRM if you prefer to use one.
Shipper, we run a lot of lanes from Fresno, California to New York, New York.
Great. That's a popular lane. I run that lane also. Always say that. You always have trucks in any state and including Canada. You might not currently have a truck, but you will find one on the load board after the call. Thus, you always say you have a ride, aka a truck. Are you looking for trucks regularly on that route? Fun tip: lanes can also tell you a lot about what produce is moving where. Hint, follow the watermelon lanes in the summer and the potato lanes in the fall. More on that in our chapter on seasonal freight. One pick, one drop. What it is. This term refers to a load that has one pickup location and one drop-off location. This is the simplest type of shipment and usually the most desirable for carriers because there are fewer stops and less hassle. How to use it. You might say, "This load is one pick, one drop," when describing a shipment to a trucker. It means the truck will only have to make one stop to load and one to unload, which is often more efficient. Multi-picks can be a 3-in-1 or 3 different pickups. They fill up the truck and drop it at the receiver. Or one pick, 2 drops. Pick one place and drop in 2 places. Picks and drops can be close to each other or scattered throughout different states. It all depends.
Shipper, is this a multiple stop load?
Nope, it's one pick, one drop. Easy and straightforward. Humor. Think of it like a pizza delivery. One stop to pick up, one stop to drop off, and everyone's happy. LTL, less than truckload. What it is. LTL stands for less than truckload, meaning the shipment does not fill up an entire truck. This is like carpooling for freight. Multiple shipments share space in one truck, and the shipper pays only for the space their goods occupy. How to use it. When a shipper mentions they need to move a smaller shipment, you could say, "Sounds like an LTL load. I can definitely help with that." LTL will have to be subbed out to the company you work for as they are harder to move. When we go to the chapter on how to find agent placement, I will expand on this and make sure I suggest companies that can handle freight for you, and you still get a percentage of the profits. Tell the shipper my company handles LTL. It is a great way to get moving their FTL freight, which is easier. I will make a video series add-on very soon for LTL produce, so hang tight.
Shipper, we have a smaller shipment that needs to go out.
No problem. Is this LTL or do you need a full truck? Humor: LTL is like riding in an Uber pool. Your freight is sharing the ride and cost. 4. FTL or full truckload.
What it is. FTL stands for full truckload, which means the shipment fills the entire truck. It could be a load of melons, potatoes, or anything that takes up all the space. This is preferred for larger shipments and is often more direct.
How to use it. When confirming details with a shipper, you could say, "So we're looking at an FTL from point A to point B?"
Example dialogue. Shipper. We have a large shipment heading to Chicago. You. Perfect. That sounds like an FTL load. I can get you a dedicated truck for that.
Humor. Think of FTL as a private jet for freight. No sharing, just one shipment taking up the whole space. 5. BOL or bill of lading.
What it is. The bill of lading, or BOL, is a legal document between a shipper and carrier that details the type, quantity, and destination of the goods being shipped. It acts as a receipt and is essential for processing payments and claims.
How to use it. Always ask, can you send over the BOL for this load? It's crucial for documentation and is part of your job to keep these organized.
Example. Dialogue, shipper. We'll send over the details. Great, I'll need the BOL as soon as possible to confirm everything with the carrier.
Humor. Think of the BOL as the ticket stub at a concert. Without it, no one knows where the show is or what you're seeing. Please see the sample documents video for further explanation on these.
6. Commodity.
What it is. In freight, a commodity refers to the type of goods being transported. This could be produce like tomatoes, watermelons, meat, poultry, or even ice cream and much more. Biomedical, cadavers. The list goes on and on.
Knowing the commodity helps determine the type of truck needed and how to handle the load.
How to use it. When discussing details with a shipper, you might ask, what's the commodity? And are there any special handling instructions?
Example dialogue.
Shipper, we're shipping fresh lettuce.
You got it. Now this is important. You will need to know this as it is what you will say always. You need to know this information to find a truck. Ask the shipper what time does it load. Is it first come first serve, or do I need to make a loading appointment? Temperature requirements. Weight. What time is delivery? And is it first come first serve or appointment only? You can also, as a beginner, ask, what is your target rate? That way you know what he is looking to pay. Some inside information there.
Humor. Think of the commodity like a celebrity. Some need a private jet, reefer truck, while others can take a regular flight, dry van.
Produce shippers often align their needs with the seasonality of their crops. For example, watermelon shippers are most active in the summer months, while apples are more in demand in the fall.
Knowing the produce season allows you to strategically plan your cold calls and pitch to shippers when they are most likely to need your services.
Pro tip: start reaching out to watermelon shippers in late spring to line up for summer, or potato shippers in late summer to prepare for the fall season. We'll expand on this strategy in our chapter on seasonal freight.
Example dialogue.
Shipper, we're getting ready for watermelon season.
Perfect. Let's make sure you're covered with trucks ready to go. We can plan ahead to handle your peak season.
8. Common questions a produce shipper might ask.
Question, what's your experience with refrigerated freight?
What they mean. They want to know if you understand the complexities of moving produce that requires refrigeration.
Your answer. We've handled everything from lettuce at 34 degrees Fahrenheit to frozen goods at -10 degrees Fahrenheit. We're well versed in maintaining the right temperatures for your commodities.
Question: how do you handle claims if a load goes bad?
What they mean. They want assurance that you're prepared for worst-case scenarios.
Your answer. We work with carriers that have excellent safety records and provide robust insurance coverage. If a claim arises, we handle it promptly and transparently.
Question, how quickly can you get a truck here?
What they mean. They're testing your ability to deliver fast.
Your answer. We pride ourselves on quick turnarounds. If you give me the details now, I can start working on getting a truck dispatched immediately.
Question: what kind of trucks do you use?
What they mean. They want to ensure you have the right equipment for their needs.
Your answer. We use a range of equipment, from 53-foot reefers to specialized trucks for specific needs. We match the truck to the load to ensure safe and efficient delivery.
Question, can you guarantee a rate?
What they mean. They're looking for stability in pricing.
Your answer. While market rates can fluctuate, I can provide a competitive rate based on current conditions and work to lock it in as best as possible for you. Final notes. Becoming fluent in freight broker speak. Knowing these terms and how to use them is like having a secret weapon. When you speak the language, shippers take you seriously. You're not just some rookie dialing randomly. You're a knowledgeable professional ready to help them move their goods efficiently and reliably. Humor? Think of it like dating. If you don't know what a ghosting is, you're going to be very confused. So, get comfortable with these terms. Practice using them in conversations, and make sure you understand what the shipper is really asking. Armed with this knowledge, you'll be ready to handle any cold call like a seasoned pro. Stay tuned for the next chapter, where we'll dive deeper into seasonal freight and how to use it to your advantage. Make the background music energetic, inspiring, and creative for learning. Welcome to the section where we dive deep into one of the most crucial skills for a freight broker, making effective cold calls. Cold calling can be intimidating, especially if you're new to it, but it's one of the most powerful tools in your toolkit. This is where the rubber meets the road. The way you approach these calls can determine your success as a freight broker, and I'm here to guide you on how to turn these calls into profitable relationships. Why cold calls matter. The path to success in freight brokerage. When you start in freight sales, calling prospects isn't just a task, it's a necessity. You're not just making calls to get shippers on board. You're making calls to build lasting relationships that keep them shipping with you consistently. It's about providing value, offering competitive rates, and most importantly, delivering exceptional service that keeps them coming back. Remember, every shipper has a choice, and your goal is to make sure they choose you. The secret formula, 85% of your success is your personality. Research from the Carnegie Institute of Technology found that 85% of your financial success comes from your ability to lead, communicate, and negotiate. Only 15% is based on technical knowledge. This means that how you present yourself on the phone, your confidence, tone, and ability to engage with the person on the other end, matters far more than knowing all the technical details. This is where most people go wrong. They focus too much on the technical side and forget the human element. Let's focus on that 85%. Keys to making an effective freight broker sales call. To stand out, you need to make your prospects feel like they're more than just another number on a long list. You want to make them feel special and valued. This is the core of being a successful freight broker agent. Tip: have a sales call information sheet ready. Before you make any call, preparation is key. Have a sales call information sheet ready to capture important details during your call. This sheet should include the main contact name, information about their lanes and where they source or deliver their products, email address and phone number, and notes about any specific needs or preferences mentioned during the call. This information helps you tailor your future conversations and shows prospects that you're attentive and reliable. Cold call script for freight broker success. Below is a script to guide you through a cold call. Use this as a framework to build your style. Remember, scripts are guides, not rigid rules. Be flexible and adjust based on the conversation's flow. Step-by-step cold call script. Step 1. The initial approach. When you first call, the gatekeeper, usually a receptionist or operator, will answer.
Hello, ABC Company. How may I help you?
You say, "This is your name with your company name. Could you connect me to your transportation department, please?" Remember to be polite but assertive. Gatekeepers are trained to screen calls, so clarity and confidence are key. You may be asked for more details.
May I ask what this is regarding?
You respond, "I'm a logistics agent looking to help move your freight. Who would be the best person to speak with?" If they hesitate or say they're not interested, don't give up. Use a trick that works well. Wait 10 minutes, call back, and ask for the sales department. When you get someone on the line, explain you were misdirected and should have been transferred to logistics. Ask, "Could you please connect me to the right person," or provide their name. Always take notes. Record the names of contacts, gatekeepers, and any tidbits of information that could be useful later. Step 2. Getting to the right person and introducing yourself. Once you're transferred to the right person, keep it professional but warm.
Hi, this is Prospect's name.
You say, "Hi, prospect's name. I'm your name with your company name. We are an asset-based logistics agent and I'm interested in helping move your freight." Pause and use an icebreaker. You continue, "It's slower than normal for this time of year. Are you guys staying busy?" The goal is to build rapport. People are more likely to engage with someone who shows genuine interest in their business. Step 3. The quick qualification questions. After the small talk, you need to be quick and direct. I'll be really quick with just a couple of questions about your shipping needs. I see in the Blue Book that your company ships a good amount of commodity. Where do you typically pull your product from? What lanes do you run? Take notes. Writing fast and accurately is crucial here. The details they give you are gold and will help you build a more tailored approach. Step 4. Offering your services. Once you have some information, make a straightforward offer. Do you ever have to look for additional trucks on your own? I'm interested in helping you move your freight. How do I get signed up with you guys? Can I shoot over our information, be ready to provide your email and gather theirs? What's your email address? Advice. After getting their email, ask one last question to keep the door open. Do you have any freight you're working on today or this week that you need help with? Step 5. Handling rejection and objections. If they say they're not interested or give you a brush off, I understand that brokers come and go in this business. I personally strive for long-lasting relationships with my customers. Do you keep your options open to additional brokers, at least to see how our prices compare with theirs? Advice. Always be ready for rejection and don't take it personally. Stay calm, professional, and persistent. Sometimes the conversation isn't about getting a yes right away, but planting the seed for future opportunities. Final notes on cold calling. Cold calling is an art that combines persistence, personality, and strategy. The more calls you make, the more comfortable you'll become, and the better you'll understand how to navigate conversations. Remember, it only takes one good conversation to lead to a shipper saying yes, and that could be the start of a lucrative long-term relationship. Keep practicing, refine your pitch, and always aim to build value and trust. The more you put into these calls, the more you'll get out of them. Now let's get those phones ringing. Let's talk about establishing spot market rates before posting a load. In the past, this could be a bit of a guessing game. You'd have to rely on intuition, outdated data, or spend hours comparing rates manually. But now, with Lane Runner, it's easier than ever to stay competitive and secure more freight without the guesswork. Here's how simple it is with Lane Runner. Log in and enter your details. Once you're logged into Lane Runner, all you need to do is enter the origin and destination of the load you're looking to move. Next, select the equipment type, whether it's a reefer, flatbed, dry van, or any other truck type. Get the direct spot market rate. With just a few clicks, Lane Runner provides you with the direct spot market rate for that lane. This rate is updated in real time, so you know exactly what other brokers and carriers are currently moving freight for on that route. No more second guessing or relying on outdated information. Post the load. Using the direct rate. Use this direct rate from Lane Runner when you post your load on the load board. Your goal is to match or get as close as possible to this rate when negotiating with carriers. This ensures you're competitive and more likely to attract carriers quickly. Charge the shipper the suggested rate. Once you know what carriers are getting paid, Lane Runner also suggests a rate for brokers to charge their shippers. Use this suggested rate to create your quote for the shipper. This not only keeps you competitive, but also ensures that you're covering your margins and not underbidding yourself. Why this approach cuts out the guesswork. Lane Runner takes the guesswork out of pricing. You no longer have to wonder if you're overbidding and losing freight to cheaper brokers, or underbidding and leaving money on the table. Keeps you competitive. By using up-to-date, real-time rates, you stay aligned with the market. This makes your posts more attractive to carriers, increasing the likelihood of booking the load faster. Helps you gain more freight. Being competitive and accurate in your pricing means you'll gain more freight. Shippers want brokers who are reliable, knowledgeable, and aligned with current market conditions. Lane Runner ensures you have the tools to be exactly that. Increases profitability. By charging shippers the suggested rates and ensuring you're not overpaying carriers, you maintain healthy profit margins on every load. This balance is key to running a successful freight brokerage. With Lane Runner, you're not just another broker throwing numbers out there. You're informed, competitive, and strategically positioned to win more loads and grow your business. So, make sure you're using Lane Runner to establish your spot market rates before posting any load. It's your roadmap to better freight decisions. Here's a detailed step-by-step guide on how to book a load on a load board after a shipper gives it to you. This guide will walk you through every action you need to take, what to post, and how to handle the process from start to finish. Step-by-step guide. How to book a load on a load board. Step 1. Receiving the load details from the shipper. When a shipper gives you a load to move, they will provide specific details about the freight. Make sure you get all the necessary information. Here's what you need to collect. Pickup location, which is the origin, where the load needs to be picked up. Delivery location, or the destination where the load needs to be delivered. Commodity, meaning the type of goods being transported like produce, refrigerated goods, or dry goods. Weight, which is the total weight of the freight. Equipment type, the type of truck needed, such as a dry van, reefer, or flatbed. Temperature requirements, if it's refrigerated freight, know the exact temperature settings. Load type, whether it's one pick and one drop or multiple stops. Pickup and delivery dates and times when the load should be picked up and delivered. Payment rate, the amount the shipper is willing to pay for the load. Special instructions, any additional details like first come, first served at the pickup or drop-off locations, or specific handling instructions. Step 2. Prepare your load posting on the load board. Once you have all the details from the shipper, it's time to post the load on the load board. There are several load boards to choose from, such as DAT, Truck Stop, and Lane Runner. The process is generally the same for all. Here's how to do it. Log into your load board account. Make sure you're logged into your account on DAT, Truck Stop, or whatever load board you use. Have your truck management software or TMS open as well, since you will need to reference it later. Navigate to the load posting section. Go to the section of the platform where you can post loads. This is typically found on the dashboard or under a post load button. Enter origin and destination. Fill in the origin, which is the pickup location, and the destination, which is the delivery location. For example, McAllen, Texas to Dallas, Texas. Select equipment type. Choose the type of truck needed for the load. For example, if it's refrigerated freight, select reefer. If it's a flatbed load, select flatbed. And if it's dry goods, choose dry van. Enter load details. Weight. Enter the weight of the load in pounds. For example, 42,000 pounds. Load type specify if it is a full truckload or less than truckload. Most load boards will have a checkbox for this. Pickup and delivery dates and times. Include specific pickup and delivery dates and times. If it's a first come, first served pickup, be sure to mention that. Temperature requirements. If it's a reefer load, enter the required temperature settings. For example, 34 degrees Fahrenheit for fresh produce. Provide additional load information. Commodity. Enter the type of commodity, like watermelons or frozen chicken. Number of stops. If it's one pick and one drop, indicate this clearly. If there are multiple stops, detail how many picks and drops. Load notes. Add any special instructions such as driver must call 1 hour before arrival or first come, first served from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Set the rate you're offering to pay the truck. Research the current market rates using tools like the Lane Runner Spot Market tool or by checking similar loads posted on the load board. Look at what your competitors are posting and make sure your rate is competitive. Enter the rate you're offering. For example, if the going rate is around $1,300 for a McAllen to Dallas route, consider posting slightly above that rate, say $1,301, to appear at the top of the list. Post the load. Double-check all the information for accuracy. Any mistakes here can lead to confusion, unnecessary phone calls, or even missed opportunities. Click the Post Load button. Your load is now live on the load board and visible to carriers. Booking a load and negotiating the rate, this is the heart and soul of freight brokering. When that phone rings, you've got to be ready to turn a call into a deal. Here's how I handle it and some insights from my personal experience. Step 1. Break the ice and build a relationship. Before diving straight into business, I always take a moment to break the ice.
Nice to meet you. Do you run these lanes often?
This little bit of small talk goes a long way because carriers are your partners in this business. Without them, you have nothing. You could have all the freight in the world, but without a reliable carrier, it doesn't mean a thing. Remember, your role is to connect the dots between shippers and carriers, so making friends with carriers is key to your success. Step 2. Qualify the carrier by getting their MC number. Once we've established a friendly rapport, I move on to the essentials.
Sure, I can give you the details. Can I have your MC number, please?
The MC, motor carrier number, is like the carrier's business license. It's how you verify their safety record and insurance coverage. Why this is important. You need to enter their MC number or DOT, Department of Transportation number, into your truck management software, TMS. This step is crucial because your TMS will cross-check the carrier against your company's safety standards and insurance requirements. Some TMS systems integrate tools like Highway RMS, which flag carriers that don't meet your company's parameters, such as unsafe driving, insufficient insurance, or too many hours of operation. Step 3. Handle carrier rejections professionally. Sometimes the carrier won't meet the standards set by your company. Maybe their operating authority is too new, or their safety scores are high. In this case, be polite but firm.
I see your authority is only 5 months old. Unfortunately, our company requires at least 6 months of operation. Please call us back in a month. We'd love to work with you.
This approach keeps the relationship positive and the door open for future business. Step 4. Check if the carrier is set up with your company. If the carrier qualifies based on their safety record and experience, the next step is to check if they are already set up with your brokerage.
Confirm setup status. Your TMS will show whether the carrier has completed the necessary paperwork, like uploading their MC authority, W-9 form, insurance details, and so on. If they are set up, let them know. Great news! I see you're already set up with us. You're ready to go.
This is music to their ears. They're more likely to take the load if they don't have to jump through more hoops.
If they're not set up yet, send them a quick email with the setup form. Make it easy for them. I'll send over an email, and it's a quick setup process. Once you complete it, we can move forward.
Step 5. Provide clear and detailed load information. Once you've qualified the carrier and they're set up, it's time to share the load details. You don't want them asking a million questions. You want to control the conversation and come across as someone who knows what they're doing. Here's what to cover.
Commodity. This is a load of watermelons. Pickup location and time. Pickup is in McAllen, Texas today. It's first come, first served from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Delivery location and time. Delivery is in the Bronx, New York, tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. by appointment. Temperature requirements. Reefer must be set to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, continuous. This means keeping it running the entire time. Don't shut it off.
Step 6. Ensure the carrier's truck is available and ready.
A critical question to ask is, are you empty right now?
If they're not empty, you need to know when they will be.
If they say, I'll be empty at 3 p.m., you need to weigh the risks.
If they get delayed or have a rejected load, they might not make it to your pickup on time, which is a nightmare scenario. It could leave you scrambling late in the day to find another truck, and rates are usually higher at that point. Tip: while it's not always a deal breaker if a truck isn't empty, it's better to use an empty truck to avoid potential delays. Over time, you'll develop a sense of when a truck is likely to make it or not. Step 7. Verify load readiness with the shipper.
Even if the load is listed as first come, first served, I always like to call the shipper to confirm that everything is on track. Sometimes, with produce loads, they need extra time to pack items like watermelons or tomatoes. I'll call the warehouse shipping the product and ask, what time will this load be ready? This way, I can give the driver a more precise time to avoid them sitting and waiting for hours.
This way, I can give the driver a more precise time to avoid them sitting and waiting for hours.
Step 8. Start negotiating the rate. Once the carrier is ready and all the details are confirmed, you move on to the negotiation phase. Negotiating rates is an art form, so we'll cover that in the next chapter, where I'll share my strategies for getting the best rates while keeping carriers happy. Closing thoughts. Be thorough, be clear, and build strong relationships. Booking a load is all about clear communication, attention to detail, and building solid relationships with carriers. Always be thorough when qualifying carriers. Provide detailed load information up front and make sure everything is in place before confirming. Treat each call as an opportunity to build your network, and you'll see your business grow stronger with every load you book. Stay tuned for the next chapter on mastering rate negotiation. Now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty of negotiating the rate. This is where you maximize your profits and minimize your losses. Let me be clear, it's not easy. It will take practice, patience, and a good amount of trial and error to get it right. Step 1. Know your target rate using Lane Runner. First, use Lane Runner to figure out where you want to be with your rate on a load. You'll need to determine both the rate to post on the load board and the rate to discuss with the shipper. It's a fine balance. You don't want to overpost the rate and scare off carriers, nor do you want to underpost and end up paying too much. Be careful and make sure you get it right. The right rate is key to getting the calls from carriers. Step 2. Prepare for negotiation. When you negotiate with trucks, especially for an expensive load, be ready. They're likely going to ask for more than you're prepared to pay. They may come in asking for $12,000 on a load that should only cost $8,000. It's just part of the game. Most carriers will ask for more, around 95% of the time. The trick is to expect that, start high, and then negotiate down to a middle ground. Step 3. Start the negotiation. Here's how a typical negotiation might go. Carrier, hey man, how much are you paying on that load? I'm paying $4,000. Right away, the carrier might come back with, is that the best you can do? Or is that all you have in it? Or maybe, oof, I can't do it for that. At this point, you want to be smart about your next move. Step 4. Use strategic questions and responses. Instead of immediately offering a higher rate, use my trick. Ask them where they're looking to be at. This puts the ball in their court and forces them to give a number first. Carrier, I'm thinking around $4,800. Whoa, I can't do that. This is where you need a list of excuses or justifications to bring the rate back down. Excuse number 1, I just covered a load this morning for $4,200 on the same lane. Use the term covered. It means you booked a truck at that rate earlier and there's no reason for you to pay more now. Excuse number 2, I just don't have that in the load. This means the shipper didn't give you enough money to cover the carrier's high rate. It's a straightforward excuse, but I don't prefer using it often. The important part is to have a few of these reasons ready. You need to be creative and tactical with your negotiation strategy. You don't want to give away too much, but you also don't want to lose out if that was the right rate, and no other trucks call you back. Step 5. Find the middle ground or stay firm. Negotiation is all about finding that fine line where both parties are happy. You might come back with, I can meet you in the middle at $4,400. Can you do $4,600? If they push back, sometimes you have to be firm and say the most I'm going to pay is $4,400. If that doesn't work for them, you may have to walk away. Sometimes it just doesn't result in a deal, and that's okay. Not every call will be a winner. Other times, they might agree to the rate you posted, and that's perfect. But again, this is all about balancing your needs with theirs. Step 6. Learn by doing. There are countless variables in negotiation, and I can't possibly tell you all of them. The only way to get good at this is to pick up the phone and start negotiating. You need to understand your lanes, know what the rates should be daily, and use that knowledge to guide your decisions. There's no magic formula, just practice, experience, and a bit of gut instinct. Step 7. Build long-term relationships with carriers. Always remember, you want to build a relationship with the carrier. If he runs your lane well, he might want to do it again next time. If you've made a friend, he might call you directly, and you won't have to rely on the load boards as much. Then you can approach your shipper and say, I have a truck in hand, ready to go. Let's make it happen. As you build these relationships, it makes everything smoother and more profitable. Final thoughts. Mastering negotiation takes time. Negotiating rates is where you make or break your business as a freight broker. It takes time, practice, and a lot of phone calls to master, but each negotiation teaches you something new. Keep at it, build those relationships, and you'll find your rhythm. Let's dive deeper into specific negotiation tactics in the next chapter. Hey there, freight brokers. Ready to take your negotiation skills to the next level? Let's dive into some pro tips to help you master the deal and maximize those margins. First up, know your numbers. Before hopping on the phone, make sure you're equipped with solid data. Tools like Lane Runner can help you research spot market rates for specific lanes, equipment types, and seasons. This will give you a solid foundation and help you avoid overbidding or underbidding. Remember, every dollar counts. Next, let the carrier speak first. When a carrier calls and asks about the rate, flip the script. Ask them, where are you looking to be on this load? This forces them to make the first move and reveal their expectations. And don't forget, silence is golden. After asking their rate, pause. People often feel uncomfortable with silence and might drop their rate to fill the gap. Now, be ready with strategic justifications to lower rates. Carriers often come in high, so arm yourself with reasons to bring them down. Say things like, I just covered a similar load at $X earlier today, or I don't have that much in the load from the shipper. This shows you're not just lowballing, but have concrete reasons behind your offer. Try the meet me in the middle strategy. If the carrier's rate is higher than you'd like, suggest meeting halfway. For example, if the carrier wants $5,000 and you want to be at $4,500, suggest $4,750. This shows you're willing to compromise and can build goodwill. Leverage the power of urgency. If you sense hesitation from the carrier, create a sense of urgency. Let them know other trucks are considering the load and you need to finalize things soon. Try saying, I have another truck considering this, but I'd like to work with you. If you can meet me at $4,400, I can lock this in right now. Use the bundling technique. If you're working with a carrier who runs specific lanes regularly, offer them multiple loads at a slightly discounted rate. This can save you both time and hassle. Say, if you take this load at $4,300, I have another load for tomorrow on the same lane. I'll give you both for $8,500. Deal? And don't forget to build rapport. You're dealing with people after all. Ask them how their day is going or how business has been. A bit of friendliness can make them more flexible on rates. Try some reverse psychology. If a carrier is pushing too hard for a rate that's too high, say, at that rate I might have to look at other carriers, but I'd really like to work with you on this. This often prompts them to reconsider their rate. Always keep an alternative up your sleeve. Never let the carrier think they are your only option. Imply you have backups. Say, I have another carrier who might be able to do it for $4,200, but I wanted to check with you first. If the negotiation is stalling, use the takeaway close. Say you're maxed out at a certain rate and might need to look elsewhere. This often brings the carrier back with a more reasonable counteroffer. And finally, be ready to walk away. Know when to say no if the carrier's rate doesn't make financial sense. Walking away shows strength and keeps your margins intact. Remember, every negotiation is an opportunity to build a relationship. Negotiate well and maintain fairness, and carriers will be more likely to call you directly for future loads. So there you have it, folks. Master the art of negotiation and watch your freight brokerage thrive. Happy negotiating. When it comes to moving reefer produce, check calls are essential to ensure everything runs smoothly from pickup to delivery. Shippers and receivers are meticulous about their produce, and one mistake can lead to rejections, claims, and unhappy customers. Here's a guide on how to effectively manage check calls and stay on top of your loads to keep both your carriers and shippers satisfied. Step 1. Set up initial check call or automated reminder. Once a truck is booked for a load, it's crucial to check in with the carrier around the time they're supposed to arrive at the pickup location. You can either make this call manually or set up an automated email to go out to the carrier at that time. The goal is to ensure that the truck is checked in on time and is ready for loading. Example, check call dialogue. Hi, this is your name with your company. Just checking in to see if you've arrived at the pickup location and if everything is on track. Driver, yes, I'm here and waiting to load. Great. Just a reminder to make sure your reefer is pre-cooled to the required temperature before loading. The shipper won't load a warm truck. Step 2. Verify reefer temperature and pre-cooling. One of the biggest concerns for produce shippers is ensuring the reefer is properly pre-cooled to the specific temperature required for their produce. A warm reefer is a deal breaker. They won't load it, and this can cause significant delays. Follow-up questions for the driver. Is your reefer pre-cooled to X degrees as specified by the shipper? Please make sure it is running continuously at the set temperature. This is crucial to avoid any rejections. Reminder, shippers often have strict requirements, so always confirm the reefer temperature in writing, whether it's through an automated system or a direct message. Step 3. Request the bill of lading, BOL, upon loading. Once the truck is loaded, you need to get a copy of the bill of lading, BOL, from the driver. The BOL is a critical document that confirms what is being transported, the condition of the goods at pickup, and other key details. Instructions for the driver. Please send me a copy of the BOL as soon as you're loaded. This is important for our records and to update the shipper. Make sure the BOL clearly states the correct temperature the reefer is set to. This helps us avoid any disputes later on. Automate, if possible. With the right tech tools, you can automate this process. There are many automation platforms available that can automatically send an email reminder to the driver to send over the BOL, as well as follow-up emails if it isn't received promptly. Step 4. Daily check-ins and tracking updates. Once the truck is on the road, it's important to monitor the progress daily. Set up a system to check in every morning to confirm that everything is going smoothly and that there are no issues with the load. Daily morning check call. Example, good morning, just checking in to make sure everything is running smoothly with the load. Any issues or concerns? Driver, all good so far, reefer is running at 55 degrees as required. Perfect. Please continue to monitor it closely and let me know if anything changes. Tracking and monitoring. Make sure to obtain tracking information from the carrier and monitor it closely. Share this tracking information with your customer as well, keeping them in the loop. Automation tools can help with sending these updates automatically. Step 5. Address any problems immediately. Things can go wrong on the road. Trucks break down, drivers have issues, traffic delays happen, or worse. The key is to stay on top of these problems and communicate them to your customer immediately. Common scenarios and responses. Scenario: truck breaks down. Response: contact the customer right away. Inform them of the situation and the estimated delay. Work with the carrier to see if they can get another truck or a repair team to resolve the issue quickly. Scenario: driver is delayed due to traffic. Response: monitor the delay and keep the customer updated with revised ETAs. Use traffic monitoring tools to provide accurate updates. Scenario: reefer unit malfunction or temperature fluctuation. Response: have the driver pull over safely and try to fix the issue. Meanwhile, inform the customer and discuss potential solutions, such as transferring the load to another truck if possible. Step 6. Keep the customer updated continuously. The most important aspect of handling reefer loads is keeping the customer in the loop. Regular updates build trust and show that you are proactive. Tips for communicating with customers. Provide updates at every major milestone. Pickup, mid-route, and before delivery. If there's a problem, don't wait. Call them immediately with clear, concise information and potential solutions. Use both phone calls and emails for communication. A follow-up email ensures there is a written record of everything discussed. Step 7. Automate where possible. With so many moving parts, automation can be your best friend. There are many online tools and platforms that can help automate emails, text messages, and updates to both carriers and shippers. Set up automated alerts for important actions, such as pre-cooling notifications, BOL requests, and tracking updates. Step 8. Use common sense and stay calm. Freight brokerage is all about problem solving. Issues will come up. It's how you handle them that sets you apart. Use common sense, stay calm, and always have a backup plan. Keep communication lines open and be transparent with both the shipper and the carrier to ensure everyone is on the same page. Final thoughts. Mastering check calls for reefer produce loads. Managing check calls for reefer produce loads requires attention to detail, clear communication, and quick thinking. By staying proactive, using automation tools, and keeping all parties updated, you'll be well on your way to mastering this critical aspect of freight brokerage. Remember, it's all about maintaining the cold chain, keeping everyone informed, and delivering quality service every step of the way. All right. Let's talk shop, Freight Fam. If you're in the brokerage game, you know it's not just about moving boxes, it's about moving relationships. You can have the slickest website and the best load boards, but without solid carrier relationships, you're toast. So buckle up, grab your notebooks, and let's get this bread. Look, first impressions matter. That first call with a carrier is like a first date. You gotta bring your A game. Be enthusiastic, be professional, but most importantly, be real. Don't just jump into rates and routes. Ask them about their business, their preferences. Hey, do you run these lanes often? Boom, you're already building rapport. Listen more than you talk. Let the carrier tell you what they need, what their pain points are. Show genuine interest, be authentic, and you'll be way ahead of the game. Let's be real, money talks. Carriers bust their butts and they deserve to be paid fairly. Don't be that broker who lowballs and tries to squeeze every penny. Transparency is key here. Be upfront about your margins and don't be afraid to explain your reasoning. Can we meet in the middle? You're negotiating, being respectful, and finding a solution that works for both parties. A fair rate today can lead to a long-term partnership tomorrow. All right, communication is everything in this business. Once you've booked that load, you gotta be the communication king or queen. Rate confirmations, pickup and delivery instructions, any updates, fire those off promptly. Hey, just seeing how things are going with that delivery. Everything running smoothly? It shows you're invested and care about more than just the bottom line. Proactive communication beats reactive communication every single time. Anticipate potential problems, weather delays, traffic snarls, and give your carriers a heads up. Show appreciation and respect. Look, this industry can be a grind. Long hours, tough conditions, unexpected problems. A simple thank you or great job after a successful delivery can make a carrier's day. Go the extra mile. Send a handwritten note, a gift card, or even a bonus for a job well done. These small gestures speak volumes about your character and build serious goodwill. Treat people right, and they'll be there for you when you need them most. Build a preferred carrier list. Not all carriers are created equal. As you build relationships and identify those who consistently deliver, create a preferred carrier list. These are your MVPs, the ones you call first for those high-priority loads. This list is gold. It saves you time, reduces headaches, and ensures your most important shipments are in the best hands. When everyone's on the same page, it strengthens those relationships even further. Offer consistent loads. Listen, carriers love consistency. It helps them plan their routes, manage their cash flow, and build their businesses. If you've got lanes that run regularly, offer them to your preferred carriers on a consistent basis. Carriers get the steady work they crave, and you get reliable service and often better rates. Show your carriers you're in it for the long haul, and they'll return the favor. Let's face it, stuff happens. Trucks break down, loads get rejected, schedules go haywire. When a carrier is facing a crisis, be the broker who steps up and offers support. Help them find a repair shop, locate a backhaul, or simply lend an empathetic ear. Be there for them when they need you most, and those relationships will be unbreakable. Use technology to stay connected. Look, we're living in the digital age. Use TMS platforms, load boards, and other tools to automate check calls, send updates, and keep everyone in the loop. Efficiency is key, but don't let technology replace human interaction. Use it to enhance your communication, not replace it entirely. Ask for feedback and improve. You don't know what you don't know, right? Don't be afraid to ask your carriers for feedback. How can you improve your service? What are their pain points? This shows humility and a willingness to grow. Carriers will respect you for it, and you'll get invaluable insights that can help you optimize your operations. Embrace feedback, learn from it, and constantly strive to be better. Keep building the relationship over time. Building strong carrier relationships is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time, effort, and consistent nurturing. Keep showing up, keep communicating, keep providing value, and those relationships will flourish. Your carrier network is one of your most valuable assets. Treat it as such, and it will pay dividends for years to come. Outro, invest in your carrier relationships. Look, the freight game is all about relationships. Invest in your carriers. Treat them right. Communicate like champs. Show appreciation. The stronger those relationships, the smoother your operations, the happier your customers, and the more successful your brokerage will be. Now go out there and make it happen. Handling claims is one of the most challenging yet essential parts of being a freight broker, especially when it comes to refrigerated freight. With refrigerated freight, there's always a risk of cargo spoilage due to temperature fluctuations, mechanical failures, delays, or improper handling. Knowing how to manage claims effectively can help maintain your relationships with both carriers and shippers, keep your business running smoothly, and prevent financial losses. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to handle claims as an agent when things go wrong with refrigerated freight. Step 1. Understand the common causes of claims in refrigerated freight. Before you can handle claims effectively, you need to understand what causes them. In refrigerated freight, some of the most common reasons for claims include temperature deviations. If the temperature inside the reefer unit isn't maintained properly, too warm or too cold, it can spoil the cargo. Reefer unit malfunctions. Mechanical issues with the refrigeration unit can cause temperature deviations. Delays in transit, late pickups, breakdowns, traffic, or accidents can delay delivery, leading to spoilage. Improper loading or unloading. If the goods are not handled properly during loading or unloading, it can result in damage. Product rejections at receiver. The consignee may reject the load if it doesn't meet the quality or temperature requirements upon arrival. Being aware of these potential issues helps you prepare and act promptly if a claim arises. Step 2. Immediate actions when a problem arises. As soon as you're notified of a problem with a refrigerated load, whether it's a temperature issue, delay, or any other problem, take immediate action. Gather information. Speak with the driver and get as much detail as possible. What is the current temperature inside the trailer? How long has it been at that temperature? What is the condition of the product? Notify all parties. Inform the shipper and the receiver, consignee, immediately. Transparency is key in these situations. Let them know there is a potential issue and that you're working on a resolution. Document everything. Make sure you document every conversation, email, and phone call. Note down the time of the call, who you spoke to, and what was discussed. This documentation is critical if the issue escalates into a formal claim. Check the bill of lading, BOL. Review the BOL to confirm the required temperature settings and any other instructions provided by the shipper. This document will serve as the primary reference for resolving disputes about how the freight should have been handled. Step 3. Coordinate a solution with the carrier. Once the problem is identified, you need to work with the carrier to find a solution. Request an inspection. If the consignee is rejecting the load due to potential spoilage, suggest that they conduct an inspection to determine the extent of the damage. Ensure reefer maintenance. If the issue is related to a malfunctioning reefer unit, confirm with the carrier that the unit is functioning properly and has been maintained according to regulations. A malfunctioning reefer unit without proper maintenance records could make the carrier liable. Check for alternative arrangements. If the receiver is unwilling to accept the goods, coordinate with the shipper to find an alternative consignee or location where the goods can be sold or donated. Mitigate the damage. In some cases, part of the load may still be salvageable. Work with the shipper and receiver to determine if a partial acceptance can be arranged. Step 4. File a claim with the carrier. If the issue cannot be resolved and a claim is inevitable, it's time to file a claim with the carrier. Here's what you need to do. Submit a written claim. The claim must be submitted in writing. This is where your documentation comes in handy. The claim should include all pertinent information such as a detailed description of the issue, like temperature deviation, delay, or damage. Include the load number, BOL, and any other relevant documents. Photos or videos showing the condition of the cargo are also important. Don't forget to mention the estimated value of the loss or damage. Include evidence. Attach all supporting documents like the BOL, temperature logs, pictures, and emails or communication logs that show attempts to address the issue. Follow-up claims can take time to process, but follow up regularly to ensure the carrier is handling the claim promptly. Keep both the shipper and receiver updated on the claim status. Step 5. Communicate with your shipper and receiver. Throughout the entire process, you must maintain clear communication with both the shipper and the receiver. They need to be kept informed about the status of the load, the claim, and any steps being taken to resolve the issue. Provide regular updates. Keep them in the loop at each stage, whether it's gathering information, filing the claim, or waiting for a resolution. Manage expectations. Let them know the potential timelines for claim resolution and any factors that may affect it. Offer reassurance. Assure them that you are actively working on their behalf to resolve the issue as quickly and efficiently as possible. Step 6. Use technology to streamline the claims process. Leverage technology to help manage and streamline the claims process. Temperature monitoring tools. Use technology that allows real-time temperature monitoring of the reefer unit. Some systems can alert you immediately if the temperature deviates from the set range. Automated communication tools. Set up automated alerts and notifications for when there is a delay, temperature issue, or other problem. This keeps everyone informed without needing to make multiple calls or send several emails. Claims management software. Consider using claims management software that helps track all claims, automate documentation, and follow-up reminders. Step 7. Learn from each claim. Every claim is an opportunity to learn and improve. After a claim is resolved, analyze what happened and how it was handled. Look for ways to improve your processes to minimize the likelihood of similar issues in the future. Identify the root cause. Was it a maintenance issue with the reefer? Was the carrier not fully qualified? Was there a miscommunication with the shipper about temperature settings? Understanding the root cause helps you take preventive measures. Review carrier qualifications. If the carrier's failure caused the claim, consider reviewing your carrier qualification process to avoid similar issues in the future. Refine your communication. Improve how you communicate load requirements to carriers and shippers. Clearer communication can prevent many common mistakes that lead to claims. Step 8. Be proactive to minimize future claims. Handling claims is part of the job, but the goal is to minimize them as much as possible. Here are some proactive steps. Work with reliable carriers. Ensure your carriers are reliable, have good maintenance records, and understand the importance of temperature-sensitive freight. Use clear and detailed BOLs. Make sure your bill of lading clearly outlines all load requirements, especially temperature settings and handling instructions. Set up regular check calls. Regularly check in with carriers, especially during critical points like loading, mid-route, and before delivery, to confirm everything is on track. Final thoughts. Managing claims is about preparation, communication, and resolution. Handling claims for refrigerated freight requires a proactive approach, clear communication, and quick action. By understanding common issues, documenting everything meticulously, and staying on top of communication, you can effectively manage claims, minimize losses, and maintain strong relationships with both carriers and shippers. Remember, the better prepared you are, the more smoothly these situations will be handled, protecting your reputation and your bottom line. Well, first things first, you're going to start as a logistics agent, not a freight broker. Let's get something clear right off the bat. There's a big difference between a logistics agent and a freight broker. A freight broker owns the company, holds the necessary paperwork, and could either be independent, self-employed, or part of a bigger company with agents working under them. The broker has the licenses, insurance, bonding, and everything else you need to operate legally. As an agent, you don't have that. Instead, you'll work under a licensed brokerage that has the money, the factoring companies, and all the systems set up to move freight. I've been asked countless times, hey, how do I open up a freight brokerage? And the first thing I ask is, do you have any experience? If the answer is no, I'm not going to teach you that. I'm not going to get involved in someone starting a brokerage without experience because you will lose your money. The odds are stacked against you if you try to open a brokerage with no background in this business. You'll get walked all over. So you're going to start as a freight agent, and I'm talking at least for the first 2 years. Learn the ropes, build your experience, and then, if you think you're ready, you can consider becoming a broker. But to do that, you'll need to have your paperwork in order, which can easily cost around $10,000 or more for all the required licenses, insurance, and bonding. Plus, you'll need to build credit and a reputation. So, for now, let's focus on getting a job as an agent. Getting started as a logistics agent, what to expect. A good starting commission split for a new agent is 50-50. That means you get 50% of the profits from the loads you move, and the company keeps the other 50%. Remember, the company is providing a lot in return for that cut. They have the licensing in place, and they're covering the legal side with lawyers, insurance, and factoring companies that advance money on invoices. They pay the carriers up front before the shippers even pay them back. They have accounts payable, they're sending out your paycheck, and they handle a ton of back-end work. It's worth it to give up that 50%, especially in the beginning. Now, some agents can earn up to 75% commission, but those are the seasoned pros. People with $1 million book of business bringing in loads of money for the company. You're not going to start there. But if you work hard, build relationships, and move a lot of freight, you can work your way up. How to land a position as an agent. If you're serious about this, you can email me. I'll leave my contact info at the end of this series. If I see that you've got the right mindset, that you're trying, that you have potential, or maybe you've even started building a book of business, I might bring you on board. I'll start you at 50%. Remember, this isn't a job in the traditional sense, it's more like a partnership. You'll be a 1099 contractor, self-employed, but working under our umbrella. We'll help you get leads and provide support, but you've got to do the legwork. There are also other companies out there that hire new agents. I'm going to provide a downloadable list of reputable companies that will give you a chance. It's good to be with a company because there are going to be situations you haven't faced before, things you might not have learned in this course. Dealing with the unexpected, what you need to know. This business throws curveballs at you daily. What do you do when a truck driver quits in the middle of a load and leaves your produce on the side of the road? Trust me, it happens. Or how about when a driver has a heart attack and dies on the road? I've seen it. Drivers get into fights and next thing you know, they're in jail. I've had drugs smuggled onto my trucks from Mexico and had to deal with the DEA. There's no end to the surprises in this industry. In these cases, don't try to guess what to do. Call your office. Your higher-ups are there to support you. If there's an accident, a breakdown, or any kind of serious issue, notify your office immediately. They'll need to start handling the insurance and legal steps right away. Choosing the right brokerage to start with is crucial. I'd love for those of you who take this course to work with me, but, well, I can't hire everyone. There are liabilities, there's only so much capacity, and honestly, there are just a ton of logistics to manage. But don't worry, I will give you a good list of companies that are known to be fair and reputable to work for. And here's a tip. Don't take anything less than 50% commission unless they're offering you a base salary. Stay away from certain companies, I won't mention them by name here, but you'll learn quickly who the good and bad players are in the industry. Just pay attention and ask around. How to sell yourself to a brokerage. When you apply to these companies, it's crucial to sell yourself. You need to tell them you're already building your book of business. Even if you only have a few leads or one potential customer, that's what they want to hear. They want to know you're going to be reliable and that you're not going to cause them any claims. You need a clean record too. No felonies. You can have something like a DWI, but if you have a criminal record, you're handling too much money and responsibility and they won't want to take the risk. Why companies invest in new agents? Understand this. It costs a company money to bring you on board. They have to pay for terminal fees, software, training, and support. They're taking a risk on you, so they want to make sure you're serious and committed to building your book of business. If you can show them you're worth the investment, they'll back you up. Ongoing education and support. I'm going to expand on all this in future courses. What good is knowing how to broker if you don't have a solid place to work, right? So after this course, I'm going to release follow-up videos on job placement, building relationships with shippers and carriers, and more. If you've taken this course, you'll have priority access to all the future content. Final thoughts. Get ready for a wild ride and make some incredible money from home. Logistics isn't for the faint of heart. It's a fast-paced, challenging industry with a lot of ups and downs. But if you stick with it, learn from every situation, and build strong relationships, you can make a great living. So start as an agent, learn the business inside and out, and maybe in a few years, you'll be ready to run your own show. Until then, put in the work, stay humble, and keep grinding. All right, so you've made it to the end of this course, and first off, congratulations. I hope by now you're feeling more confident, more prepared, and maybe even a bit excited to dive into the world of freight brokering. But here's the thing, this is just the beginning. If you think you've learned a lot so far, there's a whole lot more to come. The freight industry is ever evolving, and to be truly successful, you've got to be committed to continuous learning, staying updated with industry trends, and sharpening your skills every single day. You might be thinking, okay, I've got the basics down. I know how to book a load, negotiate rates, and handle carriers. What else is there? Well, let me tell you, there's a lot more to this business than just moving freight from point A to point B. There's the art of building long-term relationships, understanding new technologies, navigating changing regulations, and expanding your knowledge base so that you're not just good at what you do, you're great at it. Continuing education and industry trends. This is a business that doesn't sit still, and neither should you. There will always be new regulations coming down the pipeline, new tools and software to make your job easier, and new strategies to help you outsmart the competition. Freight brokerage is a game where the rules can change, sometimes overnight. You've got to be on top of it if you want to stay ahead. Technology changes everything. From load boards like DAT and TruckStop to TMS platforms, the technology available today can make or break your efficiency. But guess what? Technology changes rapidly. What's cutting edge today might be outdated tomorrow. Staying current with the latest tech tools, apps, and platforms will give you a competitive edge. I'll be covering these in more detail in the follow-up videos. Regulatory updates matter. You've got the FMCSA, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, DOT, Department of Transportation, and a host of other bodies that keep pushing out new rules and requirements. You've got to know them, understand them, and stay compliant. One mistake here can cost you a lot: money, reputation, and maybe even your license. So keep an eye on these changes. Market trends affect your strategy. Produce prices are affected by seasons, fuel prices fluctuate, and the economic landscape changes. The spot market can be volatile, and that means you have to be agile. Staying informed on market trends, following the produce seasons, and understanding how global events affect domestic freight can make all the difference in your rate negotiations and customer relationships. Opportunities for further certifications and advanced training. For those of you who are hungry for more, there's always another level to reach. Think about getting certified as a certified transportation broker, or taking advanced courses in supply chain management or logistics technology. This industry rewards those who are serious about their craft. Certifications don't just add credibility to your name. They can open doors to higher commissions, better opportunities, and more respect in the field. And look, I'm not here to sell you some pie-in-the-sky dream. If you've made it this far, you know that freight brokerage is tough. It's a grind, but it's also rewarding for those who stick it out, who keep learning, and who push to be better every day. That's why after this course, I'm not leaving you hanging. I've got a series of follow-up videos lined up, and they're going to cover everything from advanced negotiation tactics to building a niche market to handling complex claims. The goal is to provide you with ongoing education that you can implement right away to boost your business. Join industry forums and networks. One of the best pieces of advice I can give you is this: never stop networking and never stop asking questions. There are forums, communities, and groups out there full of people who have been in your shoes and know what it takes to succeed. I'll be including links to some of the top industry forums with this series, places where you can ask questions, share experiences, and learn from the best in the business. You want to know what separates the good brokers from the great ones? It's not just about being able to quote a rate or book a truck. It's about the relationships you build, the knowledge you gain, and how you use that knowledge to grow your book of business. When you join these forums, don't just lurk in the background. Engage, introduce yourself, share what you've learned, and don't be afraid to ask for advice. The more you put in, the more you'll get out. Resources included with this series. Now, to make sure you're armed with everything you need, I've included a ton of resources with this course. Terminology cheat sheets. This will be your go-to guide for all the industry jargon, so you sound like you've been doing this for years, even if you're just getting started. Sample documents. You'll get sample BOLs, load confirmations, carrier agreements, and more. These documents are crucial for understanding the paperwork involved and making sure you're prepared for any situation. Scripts and templates. Need a cold call script? A follow-up email template? I've got you covered. These tools are meant to make your life easier and help you close more deals. All these resources are included because I want you to have every advantage possible. You're not just here to learn, you're here to succeed. Final advice: embrace the grind and stay committed. Listen, this industry is not for everyone. If you're looking for easy money, this isn't it. But if you're willing to embrace the grind, stay committed, and keep pushing forward, there's a lot of opportunity out there. I can't promise you that it'll be smooth sailing, but I can promise you that it'll be worth it. There will be days when everything goes wrong, loads fall through, carriers back out, or a shipper refuses to pay. But there will also be days when you close that big deal, when a shipper trusts you with all their loads, and when you realize you're really starting to make it in this business. Those are the days that make it all worthwhile. Stay motivated, keep learning, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learn from them, adapt, and keep moving forward. If you want to get to the top, it's all about persistence, hard work, and a commitment to continuous improvement. This industry rewards those who hustle. Looking ahead, what's next? So what's next for you? That's up to you. You've got the foundation now. You've got the tools, the knowledge, and a network to support you. The rest is all about putting it into action. And remember, I'm here to support you. There will be plenty more content coming your way, advanced strategies, live Q&A sessions, industry updates, and more. Keep an eye out for those emails and videos because I'll be dropping some serious value in there. If you found this course helpful and you want to go deeper, stay tuned. This journey is just getting started, and I'm excited to see where you take it. Until then, keep grinding, keep learning, and go out there and make it happen. To your success, Tim and Jim, the Reefer guys. So why does a shipper even need a freight broker? I mean, can't they just do it all themselves? Well, technically, yeah, but here's the deal. Freight brokers are the secret sauce that makes everything run smoother and saves shippers a ton of headaches. First off, it's all about access. Brokers have a massive network of carriers. We're talking thousands. And shippers? They don't have the time or the connections to dig through all that. They just want their goods moved, and they want it done right. Brokers bridge that gap. We've got the relationships, the insights, and we know who's reliable and who's going to drop the ball. Then there's the time and money factor. Shippers don't want to spend hours negotiating rates, tracking down trucks, and dealing with all the moving parts of logistics. They've got better things to do, like, running their business. Brokers handle all of that. We negotiate the rates, we book the loads, and we deal with the day-to-day drama of freight. And because we're in the game every day, we usually get better rates than a shipper going it alone. Now let's talk expertise. Freight isn't just about moving stuff from point A to B. It's about knowing the market, understanding regulations, and keeping up with all the changes. Brokers live and breathe this stuff. We're the logistics nerds who keep up with every detail so that shippers don't have to. When you know what you're doing, you can avoid costly mistakes. And that's exactly what brokers bring to the table. And don't forget about risk management. Shipping can get messy. Lost loads, damaged goods, delays, you name it. A good broker is your frontline defense against all that chaos. We make sure the carriers are legit, insured, and reliable. And if something goes wrong, we're the ones who jump in and handle it. Shippers want peace of mind, and brokers deliver that by managing all the risks. Lastly, it's about scalability and flexibility. Today, a shipper might need 1 truck, tomorrow 10. Brokers can scale up or down with a snap of the fingers. We make it easy for shippers to adjust without them having to negotiate a dozen different deals with a dozen different carriers. So bottom line, shippers need brokers because we simplify the whole process, save them time and money, handle the headaches, and bring the kind of expertise that makes everything run smoother. We're not just middlemen, we're problem solvers, deal makers, and the logistics backbone that keeps everything moving. That being said, now, let's talk about why a shipper might decide to switch freight brokers. Understanding these reasons is crucial if you want to keep your clients satisfied and avoid losing them to the competition. Firstly, one of the most common reasons shippers switch brokers is poor communication and lack of transparency. Shippers rely on timely updates and clear information about their shipments. If a broker is unresponsive, doesn't provide regular updates, or isn't honest about delays or issues, trust breaks down quickly. Remember, communication is key. Keep your shippers informed every step of the way. Next up is inconsistent service quality. Shippers expect a certain standard of reliability. If a broker repeatedly fails to secure on-time pickups and deliveries, or if the carriers they use frequently have issues, shippers will start looking for someone who can meet their standards consistently. Your reputation as a reliable broker depends heavily on the carriers you partner with, so choose wisely. Another major factor is lack of competitive pricing. Freight costs can be a significant expense for shippers, and they're always looking for ways to cut costs. If a broker's rates are consistently higher than the competition without adding clear value, shippers will likely shop around for a better deal. Keep an eye on market rates and negotiate aggressively on behalf of your clients to keep them coming back. Poor problem-solving skills are another deal breaker. Things go wrong in logistics all the time. It's part of the business. But what separates great brokers from average ones is how they handle these problems. If a broker isn't proactive in solving issues, whether it's a delayed shipment, a lost load, or a claim for damaged goods, shippers won't stick around long. Be the broker that takes ownership of problems and finds solutions quickly. Lastly, shippers might switch brokers if they feel there's a lack of value-added services. Today's shippers are looking for more than just someone to connect them with carriers. They want insights, data analytics, customized solutions, and technology that makes their job easier. If a broker isn't innovating or offering services that go beyond the basics, they risk losing shippers to competitors who do. To wrap it up, shippers switch brokers for reasons like poor communication, inconsistent service, uncompetitive pricing, inadequate problem-solving, and lack of value-added services. As a freight broker, your job is to anticipate these needs, deliver exceptional service, and continuously improve your offering to keep your clients loyal and happy. Remember, it's not just about moving freight, it's about building relationships and delivering value every single day. All right, let's dive into the all-dreaded claim, especially when it comes to refrigerated freight. This is every broker's nightmare, but if you've done your job right, it shouldn't be on you, it's on the carrier. Here's exactly what you need to do when a claim comes up. First things first, stay calm. Claims happen, and they're part of the business. Don't panic and don't point fingers yet. Your goal is to handle this professionally and keep your shipper informed every step of the way. Step 1, get all the details. You need to gather all the information from the shipper and the carrier. What exactly went wrong? Was it a temperature issue, delays, product damage? Get pictures, temperature logs, bills of lading, delivery receipts. Anything that can help paint the full picture of what went down. Next, contact the carrier immediately. This is crucial. Let them know there's a claim and that you need their side of the story. Remember, if you've chosen your carriers wisely and checked all the boxes, insurance, good standing, proper reefer equipment, then the responsibility should be on them, not you. The carrier is the one who was physically handling the freight, and it's their job to make sure everything stays within the required conditions. After that, you need to file the claim with the carrier's insurance. This isn't something you drag your feet on. Do it fast. Most carriers have a limited window to accept claims, so don't let the clock run out. Submit everything you've gathered. Proof of the damage, costs, everything. The more detailed you are, the stronger your case. Now, while the claim is being processed, keep the shipper in the loop. Communication is key here. Let them know you've got it under control, but don't promise anything that's out of your hands. Be clear that the carrier's insurance is responsible, and you're working to get it resolved as quickly as possible. Finally, follow up. Stay on top of the carrier and their insurance company until the claim is settled. Don't let this drag on. Stay persistent and make sure the shipper gets the resolution they need. Remember, claims are a pain, but they don't have to wreck your business. If you've done your due diligence from the start, vetting carriers, making sure everything's documented and keeping your shippers informed, you'll handle it like a pro and keep your reputation solid. Claims shouldn't be on you, they're on the carrier, and you've got to make sure everyone knows that.